All right, we're here today bringing back one of our favorite segments, which is us arguing with people on Reddit.
Oh, yeah. People love to give advice on Reddit. And when it comes to moving in or buying in Denver, people have a lot of opinions. But some of them made a really crappy purchase decision, or they've lived here for like a year.
Or maybe they're just super cranky in general.
There's a lot of that on Reddit, but we will sift through all the noise. We are Denver natives. We have tons of real estate experience, and all of that together, we will tell you what we think is valid and what we think is not so valid.
We're Jake and Megan Friedel, brother-sister real estate team, full-time real estate agents, part-time tour guides, and your guides to finding the perfect home in Denver. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 900 days, please reach out and we will help you navigate this crazy Denver market.
All of our information is in the description below, but for now, let's look at what people say are the worst sides of Denver.
Okay, First Breaking says things that basically suck about Denver. Overall, it's not very green. Sure, certain areas during certain times of the year make it look quite nice, but for much of the metro area throughout the year, it can look barren, brown, gray, etc. Trade-off of living in a high-step environment.
What the heck is a high-step environment?
Let's look it up.
A dry, temperate grassland environment characterized by vast, flat, treeless plains with cold winters, hot summers, and semi-arid conditions, typically receiving 10 to 20 inches of annual precipitation.
Okay, well, shoot, that's us.
As natives, we didn't even know that was what it's called. But yeah, it's true. It's dry as heck here. I recommend getting a whole house humidifier when you move here, or a humidifier for every room you have.
Well, and then Blue Screen 73 says, had to upvote you for using the correct climate type. People who call Denver a desert grind my god gears.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fair.
Sorry, Blue Screen 73.
all that's fair. Denver is beautiful green, especially like April and May. And then it's brown.
Well, or if we had a really good winter, that's not gonna happen this year, but if we have a really good winter, like the summer Roxborough area, super green and beautiful. But yeah, overall, it's true. It's pretty brown.
Yeah, by June, July, it's just getting roasted by the hot sun because we're 5,000 feet closer to the sun than most parts of the country too.
But they have a key point that I think is really good. They said environment with amazing sunshine. Even on the crappiest, coldest day, it is almost always so sunny. So I've had, especially people from like Ohio, I've had friends all over
Washington, everybody comes here and they're like, oh my God, the sun's amazing. I mean, 300 plus sunny days a year. I cannot underestimate what that does for my mental health all winter long. All right, Blue Screen 73 here. The two things people bitch incessantly about are traffic to and from the mountains, which is 100% predictable, and the food quality. Okay, fair point there. Yeah, you cannot drive to the mountains on Friday afternoon, and you should not drive home on Sunday morning. It is awful. You got to find a way to change and get off the beaten path when everyone else is on it. It is crazy.
I'd say that might be like one of the biggest letdowns of Denver for people is they have these dreams. You know, they come here and they go to Vail and they have like the best time of their life. And then they have dreams of doing these weekly ski trips. And they pretty quickly realize that if they are the 9-to-5ers Monday through Friday, that most of their ski day is actually going to be spent in traffic. So I think the number one thing is just being prepared. And then if there's any way you can ever get out on like a random Wednesday, use your PTO, finagle your schedule, you're going to have such a better ski day.
Yeah, and as for the food quality, you have a great point here. There is good food in Denver. Our food scene is improving all the time, but it's all super expensive. Like there's not a lot of super affordable places where you can just drop in and get a really delicious meal for like $17. If you want good food, you're typically looking at a schmancy pants restaurant, and it's going to be like $100 a person if you don't get a beverage.
All right, this next one says air quality isn't great, especially with pollution being trapped by inversion in the winter months. Ozone in the summer can also be unhealthy. There are worse places for sure, but it can definitely get bad here.
You know, this is a concern if you have like asthma issues like that, or if you're an older person who maybe struggles with COPD or something like that. And then you also should mention while we're here is that Colorado is increasingly on fire these days in the summer. Especially we're looking at maybe a pretty rough summer coming up here because it is not snowing very much this winter. So definitely something to look out for if you're a big runner or, you know, a cyclist, like a lot of people who come here are. You're going to have to check the air quality constantly.
Yeah, I think like what you said, it really depends on where you're coming from.
I do feel like the general lack of awareness to traffic law or West practices here is kind of unique downside to Denver. I've never driven in Ohio, but done plenty of driving in California, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, as well as in Detroit. But there's just something special about the confluence of drivers in this area. Always be prepared for the other driver to do the stupidest thing you can think of, and you'll be okay.
Do you think this is an example of, I don't think drivers here are aggressive because I'm the aggressive driver on the road?
Maybe.
Never with clients in my car.
Yeah. But, it's a good point here is that when we were kids, there were less than 1 million people in Denver metropolitan area, and we are
Don't age us like that.
We are scratching at 3 million people, which means everybody comes with these different driving styles. So yeah, if you're coming here from California and somebody else is from New Jersey, they're going to do something that you think is probably stupid.
Okay, the grocery stores are pretty shockingly bad coming from Austin. Like, I just tried to buy Possum. How do you say that?
Hoisin. I say hoisin sauce.
Hoisin sauce. And apparently it's not even sold at my King Supers. At H-E-B, there were at least a few options. Produce is way worse, although H-E-B produce is elite. There are options like going to several stores at a time, ordering stuff online, but it's a downgrade. The only one I can think of, though, is not so bad. That's the only con he can think of. Okay.
Yeah, so, I can buy hoisin sauce. And
I cook with that all the time. I've literally never not been able to find it. And then I love what this guy says, H-Mart. That's over in Aurora. If you live anywhere near there and you want like authentic Asian grocery store foods, that's great. But I don't know. I don't agree with this comment at all. I think our grocery stores are amazing.
I think our grocery stores are great. We've got, just here in Highland Greenwich, we've got a Whole Foods, a Natural Grocers. We've got several, King Supers and Safeways. I'm usually up on the Natty G's in the Whole Foods myself. But lots of great options. Oh, and there's a Sprouts just down the road. So I think we have great grocery stores. And, this whole H-E-B thing. Okay, I know you folks from Texas love H-E-B. And it was pretty cool. I've been there, right? But it's just a lot of, unhealthy prepped food, in my opinion. It's not our vibe, man. It's not the color of our vibe.
Don't worry. You can still get your unhealthy foods everywhere you go. Bye.
Okay, this one is about cost of living.
How are people really justifying buying a house here? Most houses, decent ones, are $500,000 or more. How can these homes keep selling and people justifying the expense of them? What do you people do for a living to be able to afford these places?
I would love to know where this person is from. They're not wrong. And this was 2 years ago. I would say in the last 2 years ago, housing prices have gone down for single family homes, probably in the neighborhood of 10%, depending on neighborhoods. And for some of those townhomes and condos, it's been way worse.
This might have been when we were right in the middle of a lot of bid up wars, and that was a tough time to beat up buyers. So they might have been feeling that pain point. I'm going to give them the benefit of that there.
But yeah, things are very expensive here. Things are. You got to have your good tech job or something.
I like what this first person said. They said, my justification was that my apartment was renting my rate substantially. So I decided that instead of moving every few years, it was time to buy a place and call it my own. My mortgage ended up being about where my apartment was going to charge me if I renewed. Yes, I could have found a cheaper apartment, but I was so tired of burning money on rent with nothing to show for it. Whoa, that is like the heart of what we do right there.
Preaching to the choir. Thanks, CFA waffle fries.
But really, even if you're at a moment where renting could save you a little bit every month, it's just a waiting game before that starts to break even and rent keeps going up and your cost of living stays pretty stagnant.
Oh yeah, and then look, internal raise 5250 says, if nothing else, do it for the dog. I'm glad he got a backyard. You know what? Everybody owns a dog in this state.
And the amount of people I have helped buy a home who said we have to have a yard for our dog is astronomical. People right now are not buying homes for their kids, they're buying homes for their dogs.
Honestly, we bought this house, we had a dog, and we needed this huge backyard. I'm glad we have it. We don't have a dog anymore.
She was high energy, she needed the space to run.
Ed Folds Red, I've always wanted a garden for the last 2 years since we bought our house. I've been developing the garden of my dreams. But we are not in a desirable neighborhood at all. It was the maximum of our affordability. I'm still paying off the furnace replacement. Couldn't do any of that renting.
Okay. Yeah, so I think there's two parts to touch on here. And the first part is we are always advising on the financial aspect of things because that's where our advice usually comes in the most valuable. But for a lot of people, there is this emotional aspect of the little things in life, like having a garden that makes it really worth it for them, or having a community, or just having like the ability to transform into what you want it to be. And so I think that's really cool. That's what this guy is experiencing, but he had to give up on a trade-off. He's saying he's not really in the most desirable neighborhood, and that's kind of how he broke into the market. He's not the only comment I see about this. I see other people saying they sacrifice location to get their first home. And I think, location should probably be kind of at your top of your priority list. It should be maybe one of the things you don't give on first, but there does have to be a give sometimes to break into the market. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
Said the girl who moved to Highlands Ranch and sacrificed location for a nicer house. Also, huge con is the dry weather. Arid desert, dusty brown. First of all, it's a high step environment, not a desert.
Get it right.
Because no humidity, the daily temp swings are effing extreme. Dressing for a day is hassle.
I don't know if I agree with this one. I hate that I gotta put the lotion on. I hate the constant humidifiers going, but I think there's a lot of things that we don't give credit for in the dry climate. Like if you live somewhere where moisture is a big problem, mold is like this constant threat looming around your house. And here that's pretty low on our list of things we worry about.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The number of times I've seen like if there's been mold in an inspection, it's a really small issue and it's like maybe a couple $1,000s to scrub and it's completely gone.
Yeah, you take that same house, put it in Florida for a week, your whole house is destroyed.
Oh yeah. Well, and you know what's nice about the lack of humidity is the bugs. There are no bugs here. I mean, I always forget that until I go see my friends in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, oh my God, how do you live this way?
Yeah, like spiders, the mosquitoes all the time. Although, if you go backpacking and you go by lakes, bring lots of bug spray.
There will be mosquitoes. But that's it, really.
Oh, and the whole airport experience is so effing stupid. One of the biggest reasons Denver is not my home base, it's such a hassle, it discourages travel. Constantly under construction. Love the Capital One Lounge.
That is a nice lounge. But come on. I mean, like, yes, it is kind of funny to fly in. Like, when people first come here and they fly into the airport, they're like, where is Denver? Like, yeah, where are those mountains? They're another half hour away if you are at the Denver International Airport. But it is an awesome airport. I mean, and it's constantly under construction because right now it's the third busiest airport in the country.
Yeah.
So, yes, and they put it out a little ways from the city because they wanted it to be able to develop and they wanted the city to develop that way. And they just never wanted to run out of space, which I'd say hit the nail on the head. And there's also a light rail that'll take you from Denver all the way out to the Denver airport for minimal fees.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hassle to get to, but to me, that's like a wild reason to be like, I'm not living in Colorado, is because I have to drive half an hour to get to the airport.
Yeah.
It's really make my list.
It's really not bad. Yeah, it's like 30 minutes from most of Denver. I mean, even if you're in the south side suburbs. Denver isn't a good city. It's very sprawled out and suburban, and the neighborhoods sort of blend together for me. Not a lot of character to them all. If you're coming from Chicago, NYC, San Francisco, Philly, etc., you'll be disappointed with the city itself.
Okay, I'm going to stop in on this one. If you are moving to Denver, I hope like one of the first things you realize is that it's not New York, Chicago, Philly. I think Denver is pretty different from all those places. I think hopefully you find that out like early in your process.
I mean, that's probably why you're coming here, is because you don't want to live in New York City.
Maybe.
I don't want to live in New York City. I love Denver. And yes, there's a lot of wonderful suburbs, which is maybe why people come here as well. But there's also some really cute neighborhoods within the city that have good personality.
Which, if you want to check out any of the Denver neighborhoods, we have tons of videos of those. The Highlands, Cap Hill, so be sure to check those out.
Make sure you're subscribed.
Okay, so this one's talking about foundation issues. Hands down the hardest thing to correct on a house, huge money. Someone says, have some friends who found out about major foundation issues. Sounds like after they bought, probably. Their basement filled up with a foot of water. They sued the contractor they bought the place from, not sure how much it ended up costing to fix. Huge hassle, unlivable for 6 months.
That is a tough one. There are foundation issues that are pretty common in Colorado. We have this stuff in the soil called bentonite. It's an expansive clay. It expands when it gets wet and it contracts when it gets dry. And this is really hard on concrete. But the good news is I have followed our inspector and a structural engineer around so many hundreds of times that we're getting pretty darn good at spotting these things ahead of time. And if we don't, if it's like a complicated issue that's really hidden, that's why we have professional inspectors and the best structural engineer in town. It took me like 8 years of my career to get this guy to finally start answering my phone calls. And I saw him like 7 times last year. So great news. We're definitely here to make sure you get a house where you do not have this problem. All right. Well, thanks so much for being with us today. That's a wrap for Jake and Megan Argue with Reddit. But we are always here to help you find your perfect place. So whenever you're ready, whether it's tomorrow or you're still doing some thinking, we'd love to have a strategy session with you. If you're in town taking a visit, we'd love to tour you around your favorite neighborhood and show you what the houses are like in there.
Yes, and none of our videos are a replacement for that in-person tour, especially for your expertise on structural issues. You cannot see that through a video. But if you want to check out any of our neighborhood tours, we've got city tours, suburb tours. So subscribe to be the first to get all that and more. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
All right. Thanks so much.